We are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Whiskey Thursday. I know. Well, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and I thought staying late on a Friday night on Valentine's Day would have far larger ramifications later on in the year for track days or other potential excursions than doing Whiskey Thursday for all of you. Figured the consequences would be less for these guys than potentially at home.
Yeah, not a do it and then ask for forgiveness.
Not with the misses. There's a couple things, right? So like it'd be like if Charles was late for Halloween. That would be bad. That would be bad. So
I would be turned into a Halloween decoration.
Indeed, you would be the pumpkin.
I'm the skeleton.
You'd be the skeleton. We got some fun stuff to talk about this fine evening. I'm sipping on some Colonel E.H. Taylor.
You got to watch how you say that. If you say you're sipping on Colonel Taylor.
Yeah, right. That could come across. Yeah. I'm sipping on some bourbon made by Colonel Taylor in a small batch. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate that. This is what was that, Justin?
The board. The comment.
Divorce, nice. Yeah, exactly. If he's late for Halloween, divorce, get out. Happy Whiskey Thursday. Yeah, it doesn't have the same ring to it. I agree, Larry.
Whiskey Throttle.
Whiskey Throttle? Yeah, that was somebody else though. That was not anybody here still permanently. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the new Michelin wet tire that Porsche has made exclusively through Manthey dealers and Porsche dealers, because I'm sure it's vastly different than the the Michelin Pilot Sport S5. They came out with an N0 version of it for the GT3 RS, so it's specific. Bunch of different. If you read the article, it's bunch of different tread compounds and optimized for this and optimized for that. I'm like, yeah, sure.
So they need to prove that. They should go to the Nürburgring. Pouring rain.
Yeah.
It's at lap times with that, and then see who's got the balls
to actually
all out. Yep.
Right.
Not in a 919.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Just in not their RS. How about that?
Yeah.
They get to drive one of the executives RS around the Nürburgring, not the press car that nobody owns.
TTS, Sonder.
Yeah, exactly.
Rush,
Sunderwunsch, Munch, whatever it is. So we got that. We'll talk about that. And the question really generally comes down on those tires. How the hell do we get them? You really got to call the dealer? They're that special? Michelin won't sell them to you direct? So maybe in a year they will. Who knows? And probably we can't get them in the States anyway because they're all funneled through Manthey.
I wonder if Porsche developed those in-house and then said, here, make this for us.
Something like that. There was the way the article reads, it was a partnership between them. It was Jörg Bergmeister driving the car, working with Michelin tire engineers to figure out the best tread compounds and depths and layouts of blocks and blah-de-blah-de-blah.
Ooh, does that mean it's a Cars and Coffee track day tire?
Probably, yes. I got the wets on. I can go. What's up, Orest? Welcome. We're going to talk about the new ZR1. When you give a car 1,100 horsepower, it's either unruly and completely unmanageable. I suppose the best thing would be, what's a Dodge? What's the biggest demon? The one that was like 1,000 horsepower or something? The Hellcat Demon Red Eye. I wonder what its track times are in relationship to the ZR1. That would be the question. Both of them 1,100 horsepower.
Yeah.
Put that one out there and let's see how fast it goes around Road Atlanta and if the driver survives.
They should do a drag race, circle track, and road course.
I like it. Because probably the the Hellcat's going to win. It's kind of set
Hope
up for
so.
that.
Maybe.
One would hope, right? That's kind of what it's sold for. So we'll talk about that a little bit, what that means for Porsche. To put that in context, we'll come back to it. At Road Atlanta, Ted went around Road Atlanta in our 992 GT3 RS about 5 seconds slower than the ZR1 just posted. Now, we weren't on Cup 2Rs, so I'm sure that was part of it. Probably picks up a couple seconds there. Which Hellcat comes with the highest APR?
I'm sure there's a trophy that goes with that.
Indeed. So the fact that the car, quote, stock off the showroom floor went 5 seconds faster than a pro driver in a GT3 RS at Road Atlanta. Now, got to give it up a little bit. Ted was learning the track while we were there. He learned it on day one and then was getting closer to Lee Keen's times, throughout the next day. But it was also hot. So maybe there was a couple seconds, but there wasn't 5. There wasn't 5 seconds. And the GT3 RS is not 1,000 horsepower. It's also, my car was $200,000 more than that. So there's that. If you can pick up a ZR1 for 175, that's a pretty freaking good bargain.
Do they come with flatbed assistance?
Yeah, one would hope. Because that's the other side of this. How reliable is it? Because that's the thing that Chevrolet's had the hardest time with, is the reason track guys typically end up in a Porsche GT, some variant, is they're generally pretty reliable. They go out, they bust out fast lap times, they do it all day, they drive home in the evening, you park it in the garage, and you don't have to do anything. Except for Charles, maybe pull the nail or the bolt out of the tire on his drive home.
It's still inside the tire.
Is it really?
It went in and
stayed in?
Yep.
It's just rattling around inside the wheel?
Yep.
Nice. He drove the Lab Rat not too long ago. And literally we've got some suspension parts on there. We're doing some sophisticated, funky stuff. And he picked up a bolt out of nowhere on the way home. And I was like, I don't know. He has luck with flat tires like I do with windshields. I'll probably go through 3 or 4 windshields per car.
I'll trade you.
No.
Okay.
I can keep driving the car when the windshield cracks. I don't want to be on the side. The only time that I had a similar story to you was a very long time ago. It was -5 out in Delaware. I was driving my 330 BMW, not on snow tires, still on its regular summer tires. It was snowing. Yeah, the equivalent thereof. Right? I think they were Pilot Sports, something like that. And I got a flat, but I'm on the side of the road, and those cars don't have spare tires. They're one of the first ones that didn't. One of the BMWs didn't have a spare tire. They just have to fix a flat, shove it in there. It was so fucking cold, the fix a flat had frozen, solid. So I'm like, great, okay. So I just hung out and waited for the tow truck to show up. It was like 3 hours on the side of the road, freezing cold. Finally got home about 11 o'clock. Similar story in that regard. You leave here about 6, you get home about 11.
Yeah.
Except I was just standing around waiting. You were actually walking to gas stations, getting shit to fix it. On you go. So,
oh well.
Anyway,
no, Austin Kent. We haven't talked finger follower, just Corvette stuff. So.
Yeah, we're getting there. You didn't miss it. So GTD at 325 MSRP. It's really cool. I'll say it's really cool for a Mustang. We have a close friend of ours, Seth, that's getting one of these. Very, very good driver. He's one of the pros at Road Atlanta. So the lap times that he lays down will be respectable for what that car is capable of. So we'll see. Yeah, AMG GT Black Series, also a nice car. From what I hear, pretty reliable on track. So they're big and heavy and like to eat consumables. It's a bit of a sledgehammer.
Just wait 3 years and they'll be depreciated 90%.
100%. 100%. Maybe even 100%.
Maybe.
Free. Get your AMG GT here. Senna Sport, 1.2 million. Yeah, that seems like a reasonable thing to take to the track all the time. The ZR1 took the record away from it? Oh, well, 10%, get 90% off and go just as fast. Be interesting to see how much, to Charles' point, how the ZR1 retains its value over time. Because Corvettes are another one that generally don't retain their value very well. They kind of come out and then kind of drop. They'll plateau. They'll kind of reach a new bottom, but it's nowhere close to where MSRP was. Winter Circle, yeah. The would you do a Z06 or a ZR1? Would you stay naturally aspirated, or are you getting that twin turbo 1,000 horsepower action?
Get the NA one and then turbo.
Ooh, boost it. Get your 7 psi and double your horsepower.
Yeah.
Or something. There's some math in there that doesn't quite correspond with all that. So that'll be interesting to see how the ZR1 does. And one of the things that we noticed, having gone to the Nürburgring and tried to compete on Porsche's home soil, I like what Chevrolet did. They just kind of brought out the FU on all the US tracks. Let's go take the lap record for a production car at every one of the tracks that we can get the car on this summer. And I think that's the right way to do it. I'd say predominantly their biggest customer base is going to be the US. And it might even end up being disgruntled GT car owners, because guys are tired of their center locks being busted and not being able to drive their car. They're tired of not being able to get one. I mean, that's why Seth got a GTD, because none of the Porsche dealers, even though he's had like every GT car, all of them, right? 997.2 3.8, 997.2 4-liter, 991 RS, 991.2 RS. He couldn't get an allocation for a 992. That's funny. For $10,000 more MSRP, you get a 1,000 horsepower mid-engine turbocharged monster or a 4RS.
I wonder how quickly those wind up in guardrail. No, sorry, guardrail's Mustang. That'd be the wall.
The wall, yes. Somebody's going to come in a little. They must have put a lot of effort into traction control for that car. At 1,000 horsepower.
But if they're having a real race car driver drive it,
yeah, then they turn all that off. Yeah, 100%.
They don't care.
Yeah, but the amateur needs to leave all that on, for sure. We've got a minute 22 seconds. Yeah, let's watch a Road Atlanta lap. It'll be fun. I haven't seen it yet.
This is one of those when you watch the videos and you time it, you're like, oh, it wasn't minute 22, it was minute 25.
You mean like an SSC?
Yeah.
When the helicopter's staying on it the whole time, you're like, wait, the helicopter can't fly that fast. How's that possible?
Yeah. It was a drone.
It was a drone. Yeah, I promise.
I guess a helicopter is just a drone.
With a person in it.
Yeah.
An occupied, non-remote control drone. I'm just going to watch the steering wheel and see how much corrections he's having to do.
So who's driving this?
One of the engineers that works on it. They had different drivers for every track in the car, so that's kind of cool. You're getting up to 150 there? Holy crap!
You hope so.
Oh my god! Right? I mean, with that much power,
clear 170 back here.
Yeah. We'll see how fast he gets down here coming into the left. Yeah, he's 138 before the bridge. 175, 180, okay. 182 is what I saw. The brakes better be superb.
Yep.
In this thing.
Almost lost it there.
Yeah. Somebody logged in as you?
Oh, it's probably Charlie.
Okay. I'm like, like, you have these issues.
I would hope it's Charlie.
Yeah, I hope so too. Right?
Or else I've been hacked again.
Right? Hopefully that's not the case.
No,
I don't think so.
No.
No. There's Randy Popes at Road Atlanta. I'd need Ted's race car driver brain for all of this. It doesn't stick for me. There's no slot for that to stick around.
Okay,
Hi,
good.
Charlie.
Not somebody from Nigeria.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, not Nigerian Prince Charles Dundon.
Somebody else is gonna watch this and be like, "Wait, what?"
What? How's Charles on there and commenting in the comment section? It's crazy. It should be. Funny, his lateral isn't very high,
Can you imagine how good this would be without accountants?
right? Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this thing's a rocket. I will bet everybody is going to complain about understeer in this car.
Yeah, you see a couple of points where he's definitely some.
Yeah.
But now just think if they're starting at what 1,080 or something.
Yeah.
I'm engineering whoever.
You got 2,000. Here you go.
Just add nitro.
Here's 1,600. Just run it on E85. You got 1,600 horsepower. You're good.
Just yeah, it's gonna happen.
Holy moly. Yeah. The cool thing is this is the Corvette track app. It does all of this for you, which is kind of cool. So, all right. So ZR1, we'll see how that plays out. I agree with
They should have called it a ZR1000.
ZR, yeah, right. ZR 1098. I agree with the winner circle. Gabe, unfortunately, very likely the Chevy dealers, if you're not already a Corvette homie, you don't have your New Balance on to be able to walk in the dealer and they know that you're one of us, then you're probably going to have to spend a bit. That said, even if it's 100K over, that's MSRP for an RS.
They should do dollars per lap. See what that comes out.
I like it. How many laps it actually completes
Over like a year span.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody who goes to the track wants to know that number.
No, I
I guarantee that nobody actually wants to know that number and do that math.
But when they go to the track and then it breaks down and then they need another engine or gearbox, then it's at the dealer.
Yeah. This is the same 8-speed automatic? I think it's like an actual slush box. So not a PDK. It's not. I think it's an automatic. It's a. I was reading about this. Who's the company that makes automatics? Like the big one?
Allison?
No, like German one.
Getrag?
Maybe. ZF. ZF. Yeah.
ZF.
ZF.
Well, I mean, a planetary gear set has triple the surface area, and it doesn't have side loading.
Okay.
So kind of makes sense.
All right.
Just get rid of the torque converter and go to like a clutch pack Mercedes.
Oh, it's a dual clutch? Really? Oh. Okay. Good for them. Proper dual clutch. Who's C5? One of Charlie's friends has joined us.
Probably, maybe.
All right. That's cool. Getrag and yeah. So, all right. Enough on the Corvette. One more thing on the Corvette. It will be interesting to see how Porsche responds with the GT2 RS, because the GT2 RS should be similar spec wise to
they're gonna go like, imagine if they actually up the displacement, and then they're gonna have the hybrid, but then they're gonna have the motors on the wheels powering the turbos with exhaust gas. So it's gonna be like
instantaneous response.
70
this
pounds of
brick, and this brick of torque the whole time, where there's no, it's just
it's gonna be all-wheel drive, mechanical and electric, and turbos.
Right.
They're gonna blow they're gonna, instead of a blown diffuser, they're gonna have like blown wheel spokes with exhaust just
gonna be like that.
It's a pinwheel.
That what the hell is it? The EV with the fan that sucks it down,
Yeah.
the little tiny thing. I forget what the hell it's called. Somebody over there will know.
Instead of an RC car.
So there are new tires. There are they must, like us in the Northwest, they made a tire just for us so that we can go to the wet lapping days that we have so much of. It's interesting that they're promoting a tire for wet lapping days.
It's a liquid cooled racing.
We should put you in advertising.
There we go.
We should put you in advertising. The thing that we have a big problem with here in the Northwest is when it's raining, we get standing water. We get standing water in puddles. And it isn't the corners that everybody has a problem with. It's the straights. Because everybody just kind of relaxes a bit. They get on the straight, off they go. Then all of a sudden the car is doing loops and hitting a wall. Now, they go into it in this article that they have increased siping. They've got big, wide, not siping, big, wide water channels. I think they said 730 seconds deep, something like that.
Yeah.
That actually seems not very deep as a thing. Is that right?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so like 7.5 millimeters. That's in the realm.
Wait, 7.5 isn't 730 seconds.
No, it'd be more like
930 seconds.
930 seconds, 1030 seconds. Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah, 7.4 millimeters. There we go. So I don't think it really changes much, except that it's good in cold weather. And most guys that grow up in cold weather know that you don't run Cup 2s when it's 40 degrees. You would run a Michelin Pilot Sport. At least that's what I used to do. And they were great. Because they're horrible once it's above 60 degrees because they just chunk and fall apart. We'll see if this tire makes any significant improvements in that regard. So we'll see. We'll see. 10 seconds quicker.
Versus Cup 2 in there.
Yeah. And that's what's laughable about it. Almost anything's quicker than a Cup 2 in the rain.
No, they should have used like Michelin Blues. 48 seconds a lot faster.
We couldn't even get the car to go around the corner. So, anywho, getting these tires will be interesting. We'll keep you all abreast of any updates. Yes, I have run R7s in 40 degrees. Yes, but I'm not proud of it. It's happened. Talk to my therapist about it later. All right, so what you guys have been waiting on, we've been playing with our 991.1. This is...
We literally should just name it Algernon.
Right? Don't keep baby in the corner. There are two paths for a fix with this car. For those of you that are not aware, the 991.1 GT3s suffer from, what's going on, Racer 787? Suffers from, we'll just say, an issue where the engine likes to eat itself. The finger followers will wear. That wear will turn into cam lobe wear. As the cam lobe wear progresses, it turns into a misfire. By the time it's to a misfire, the engine's pretty screwed. Yeah, the white 991.1 is a 2015 3.8 liter. It is not an RS. It was a 3.8. Yeah, now I don't know really what to call it. It's a 991/.2.
It's a stroker motor.
It's a stroker motor. Yeah, it is. It is, but it's not. It's a solid lash stroker motor. So what we did, this is something that Charles has had an idea about, and we've been talking about for a while, is putting a 991.2 GT3 engine in the car and figuring out how to make it happy. That is said 991.2 GT3 engine in the car. And as of this morning, Charles and Robert were able to get it to start right up. 991.5 GT3. Yeah, almost. And Charles has been spending the day kind of refining some things, working on the tune, working on making the transmission happy, working on a number of things. Yeah. So, go ahead. You can tell them a little bit about it.
It is awesome. That is a 4-liter now.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the joke? What was the joke Justin had with it's our build for Instagram?
Yeah. It's our
crazy engine build, solid flash, whichever. But 4,000.
We built it in 30 minutes. The amount of time it took to get it down off the rack.
We ordered
because we had it.
Ordered everything for it. But the mechanical side is relatively easy. However, it's not 100% plug and play, even though it kind of is. So there were a few bugs we had to work out before attempting to make sure this wasn't a throw it together and then, oh crap, figure some stuff out.
Is that better? Can we pull them out?
You know, let me put some croissants on them.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Then it'll be like Princess Leia ones or something.
Princess Leia's.
Yeah.
And get the little twirly hair on it.
Yeah.
But they sound great.
You know, I said I needed hot pink ones with kitty cat ears that light up.
Yeah, kitty bunny ears.
They haven't shown up yet. Although I'm sure Charlie's gonna give me her pair one day.
All your base are belong to you. That's right, baby.
So a little software work, some other stuff we'll get into later, but currently, no check engine lights. It has set readiness.
Has it?
It's set readiness.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
8 of them. So I only checked the one time, but
right on.
9,000 flashes later.
Because that was something Ted and I were talking about earlier. Would this be a CARB-approved swap for those 991.1?
It's a new engine. It's a newer than that model year.
Yep.
And the software
is CARB-approved.
So,
correct.
So even California's good.
Yep.
The fun thing about the swap, first going out driving it, car was more than unhappy. It was just like, I don't want to go outside today because it's snowing. Although it wasn't snowing at the time.
But on the way back, it was.
Eventually, a few revisions, figure out what you got to do to get it to shift right. And you're like, okay, but the problem is that engine makes a lot more power everywhere, not just top end. A lot of more, actually, it makes more mid-range and low-end power than top end. So, essentially, the cars hit the throttle, take off, it's trying to slip the clutches to get it going, and it's overpowering everything. So it's just kind of like not letting the clutch out. Then you have to give it more throttle, let the clutch out, and then it goes, and then it's not really clutch smell, but
right.
Anyways, car doesn't want to drive, so got some of that dialed in. Now all of a sudden, it's Ted would enjoy it because traction control still works. However, traction control is set up for much less power, so it does get a little sideways, kind of when you don't want it to.
It's a proper hot rod.
1-2 shift, 2-3 shift, lights the tires up.
It's a proper hot rod.
It's kind of comical because it's definitely build a motor, add a lot of displacement, throw it in something small. Like definitely put 1,080 horsepower in a Corvette, versus a 500 horsepower one. So kind of that sense, but it trying to go that way, but
right. We'll come back to that, Austin. Not entirely. So I'll address that right now. So what we have been saying the whole time, and I'll back this up, what Charles has been saying for 10 years for this problem. And there have been a few that have taken his advice very early on and never had an issue, never needed the 10-year engine warranty, but went through, what'd you say, like 4 complete sets?
Three or four sets where I lost contact with them. Yeah.
3 or 4 complete sets of finger followers, because he would go in and he would look, this is a little bit worn, pull this out, put a new one in.
Yep.
And as long as you stay in front of it, the cams never get worn, you never dump a bunch of metal into the engine, you're
well
good.
Over 100,000 last time I talked. It's been a few years.
Yeah, which is crazy.
130K or something.
Yeah, some insane number.
Yeah,
right?
he got the car, lost his job, some other stuff, whatever, but still at the car, paid off. Now he works at McDonald's or something, and then keep the cars easy enough, so he couldn't afford any of that. But
he did all his own labor. He did all this himself. He didn't take it to a shop. All this bit. So the short story is, Austin, it is completely reasonable to keep the car a 3.8. There are some that the engine is going to be because Porsche told them they had 10 years and now they've got 30,000 miles on the car and it's about to blow up, but it hasn't yet. And they don't have the ability to go in and, quote, save it. It's already too far gone. So that's why we wanted to look at putting a 991.2
well,
GT3
and the other
engine.
reason is we do have in the works at some point just the finger follower pieces, whatever, and the, quote, retrofit fix, whatever we want to call it, to maintain your original 3.8 motor.
Right.
If that's the path you want to go. However, like everybody else, eventually you want more power. So if you're going to build the motor, it's a lot of money, and
this is
a lot of times reliability goes
by
up.
comparison.
This is actually cheaper than building the 3.8 motor.
Yeah, substantially.
So it's easy for these to get into the $100,000 range to build it, to actually make more power with it, versus even if you just threw the crank in the 3.8 motor, you essentially have a 991.1 RS motor at that point.
Which this still is more power than.
Gobs more power.
Yeah.
So to go from there to get more power, you need different camshaft, different valve motion, different camshafts. Well, the hydraulic followers can only do so much. So then you need to go to solid lash. So now you're going to convert it. But even the oiling system, the DGG motor has the center crankset oiling for the rods.
Yep.
That way the mains are always in supply of oil that's not varying, which is less
better.
friction, better. It has better oil aeration in the tank, and the cyclone air separator. A lot of parts that are better in the DGG engine, and for not much more money, really. Actually, I still say it's less than to pull the 3.8 out. Because the last time I checked, the 3.8 from Porsche was $97,000 right now.
They didn't want to make any more of them. To put this in context, so the engine that we put in this car was we bought it as a package deal with a PDK and a full wire harness and all of it. The engine, the PDK, the wire harness, all the control units, everything we wanted was $45,000. There is a 991.2 DGG on what?
Jake.
Oh. I was like, who is that? What? On eBay right now, there's an engine for $33,000. So 30 to 35 is about the market. I've seen them a little lower, a little higher.
Something else to think of, or just to be aware of, is they made more 991.2s than all 991s combined by a lot.
Right.
So
there's going to be a lot of DGG
There's
engines.
more DGG engines. We could swap every .1 probably, and you wouldn't even know.
Right.
I mean, there's
Just
so many of them. I mean, how many
Yeah.
engines do we have in this?
Right.
10.
It's funny you say that, Austin. We were expecting that exact comment. Yes. So the manual swap is actually substantially harder than I know. Like the very first comment, Ted. Exactly. I know. That's substantially harder than putting the 4-liter in. We'll just say that. The knowledge, based off of the knowledge that we have. Now, there are other places that we may ask. I don't know if they'll answer, but we'll ask. Probably. The manual swap is coding for the modules. So it's not like it takes any creativity. It just requires lots of time and the ability to read German.
Yeah, that's not something you would just offer a kit.
No,
a tune and
no, that would be the shop has to do.
Yeah,
that. That's something that somebody has to offer.
Yeah, that's a lot more. Not that that's not an option. We've already discussed that clearly. We'll look into that some more, but eventually.
And we have a car that we can try and a transmission we can put in it. So we have all the things to do that with if we so desire. We're even making a touring decklet for the 991.1 Ducktail touring decklet. Yeah, our version of what a touring should look like, not this slope back thing that they came up from Porsche.
Yeah.
So that's coming along with our other decklid, so you can put a big wing on it. We're likely to leave our car with the more power on it because that's kind of what we do. and it's fun. You might be able to read some of it. It's a lot of technical German, so you'd probably at least be able to say this is and then not be able to read camshaft. So or
Knochenwellen.
Yeah, Schnatt. I forget what it is. I remember.
I should know from when
looking all of. I can actually Einschlaschen or something that's like inlet.
Einlaus, Auslaus.
Yeah, Einlaus, Auslaus. Yeah, that stuff. So there's the prototype. So we're gonna outfit. The lab mouse is gonna have a full transformation. Probably the deck lid will come into play later in track season this year. Not the start of it, but it will have substantially more horsepowers and a really bitchin' suspension setup on it.
Yes.
So that'll be a good start for track season. We'll let Ted go set some lap times with that, which will be really fun. While we're still playing with aero and suspension upgrades on the 9923 RS. And maybe Pumpkin gets to come out and play by June or July, which would be kind of fun.
Which year?
Yeah, but that's been 5 years running. So June or July, some year.
Hey, the white one happened.
Yep.
A couple of years of talking about it.
So. Yeah. So actually, we should probably send the white one to Smokey.
Just don't tell anyone?
Yeah. Just let them drive it, and they're going to be like, what the hell?
We'll take, if Boston Kent, so if you're curious on our dyno, the white car was about 390 wheel.
Yep.
The stock 901.2 RS was like 465.
Mm-hmm.
The PDK to PDK, with all of full D3 kit without tuning is just shy of 500, like 490 and change. So in theory, we can add 100 wheel bolt on.
Yeah, it's probably going to be
tuning. But we've been
10, 115.
515 is kind of that number.
Yeah.
Full, well, and that's a little extra octane maybe, but
got to get an airbox for it.
Yes. Yeah. So
Charles is a bit like an iceberg. What we see him working on is just the part above the water. Mm-hmm. And then there's all this stuff going on below the waterline that he doesn't talk about.
Nope.
Because it's not really worth talking about until it's a little bit more possible to produce, and either with time that we have because other things are done, or that it's not completely worked out yet. So he just lets that puzzle kind of sit in the back of his head.
Example of why is, hey, here's an idea.
Right.
Let's take 8 years to figure this out. Or in the sense of the white car, that was okay, I got all this solved, let's do it.
Yeah. Click.
2 days done.
It took 2 days. Right.
Versus months lingering on.
Yep.
Solve the couple things that we don't know first, and then the mechanical side's easy. So.
Right. So the car stock, your car stock 2015 is about 400 horsepower. 400 horsepower to the wheels. A 991.2 GD3 with all the sauce that we can put on it is about 510. It's maybe a little more than that with a tune. So that's our intake, our headers, cob tune, and a 991.2 GD3. So that's why that 991.2 engine is going to stay in that white car, because it's super spicy. More power than the 992 GD3 RS currently. Now, we're working on that, but
there are parts available that we haven't released that work great on the 3.8.
Yes.
There's one car around here running that does have a full intake, manifold runners, everything on it, one of them. And it makes a lot of power. I don't want to say
we
numbers.
won't say the numbers because,
it makes a lot of power. It's fast. It surprises everyone.
It's more than a 991.2 GT3 stock.
Yes. However, we feel, and think, at least I think, those that are worried about finger follower issues aren't going to want to crank up power in their car, figuring that's going to wear out quicker.
They're correct.
Although the nice part is it does shift the power band to the left a little.
Yeah, so you can shift earlier and not have the next step for us with the white car is actually not to do anything.
Real quick, racer, that's about 991.2 cup. Ours was 470 peak, and then it rolled off to 420, I think, at 8,500. Ours is 550, and I think it's 510 at Redline.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So that's with all of our sauce and a tune, and our cup is again extra spicy. We need that Dundon sauce shirt on right now.
Maybe we need to start making hot sauce. It's
I think so.
Disclaimer.
Yep. Disclaimer. Gonna pour it on. It's extra spicy. So our car is gonna stay hot, but there are paths for the 3.8 for people who want to modify them. It's a great engine, and for the tune, Charles and I haven't talked about this, but it makes a lot of sense to just bring the red line down. Make it shift early, because it's the last bit of
538.
Yeah, 538 to the wheels for Racer 787.
If we wanted to share, although I don't know if Justin can block the numbers out, maybe it matters. I did share that picture from the other day of the car. The dyno, the cell phone screenshot.
Oh yeah, of our car versus our car and
the
Joel's.
Intake.
Yeah, and the intake. Yeah, that's substantial. That's a big amount.
We can share that.
So
if it's, it might have been under the mouse thread, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
One or the other.
It was tuning. I think it was tuning. Yeah. Tuning related.
Oh, it is interesting on that dyno of it, how they all have the resonance roll off up top. Mm-hmm. Even with the runners peaking earlier, the roll off is half. Yeah, because when you compare it to, because it makes more power than the 992 GT3 does stock.
Right.
Well, I guess that's kind of an idea there.
Yeah.
And even the roll off.
We're kind of telling without telling. If they can go do some sleuthing, they'll figure out what the numbers are. So yes, the next thing for the lab mouse is the 3.8 is going to go on an engine stand, and we're going to get it taken apart. We're going to document what all the fingers look like and show the
would have been just last week. Justin.
Interested parties. Yeah, it was earlier this week.
Was it?
I think it was Monday, Tuesday. Wasn't it? Maybe it was. No, it was the end of last week. You're right. It was the end of last week. So we're going to show you how to take your finger followers out. What's good, what's bad, what you need to be aware of, how you educate your local shops so that they can do this work. If they have questions, I'm going to say the words and I'm going to cringe when I say them. Yeah, go ahead. They can call us, but if they are incompetent, I am going to let the customer know that they should probably not have them do that work. Say it that way. There are plenty of shops that will not be afraid of doing this, and there are other shops that are going to be terrified of doing this. It's not hard. It's not hard. Engine comes out. Retainers for the camshafts go in. Valve covers come off. Start inspecting. Start rolling the engine over so you can take finger followers out, get them inspected, put a new one in, move on. All of them are fresh and new. Put the engine back together. All good. If you take it apart and you can already begin to see bluing of the camshafts or worse, lines and or cracks in the DLC coating of the cam lobes, then that's a different conversation. Because reasonably that means the cams need to get replaced. That can be expensive, but at least you know. At least you know. Because knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. There you go. So I'm showing my age.
All right.
Which is fine. So,
we found them.
You find it?
Crappy cell phone dyno.
Crappy cell phone dynos. I love it. Very blurry except for the line.
Well, and this is a fun one because this is a worn-out engine and another worn-out engine.
Yep.
That are semi-comparable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we've got the baseline and then exhaust and then intake parts.
Right. And it just looks silly.
Yeah. This is the... You can just do one, then the other, Justin. Well, maybe you're doing both. Ta-da! Oh. There you go.
Yeah. So the dotted line on the top is all the sauce on a 3.8.
Intake header exhaust tune.
This is old.
A lot of stickers.
Old, yeah, a whole lot of stickers. Many 10 horsepower stickers on the car. The bottom line is stock. The middle line is stock plus exhaust.
Yeah, full catted system.
Yeah, not even an intake or a plenum or anything. So you can see you can get there. I mean, you can get 50 plus wheel from the intake, exhaust, tune on a 3.8 that you know is happy. Charles earlier said that we didn't think that people would want to modify their 3.8, especially when it was under the 10-year engine. That was more the hesitation. The increasing the volumetric efficiency isn't going to increase the wear on the engine. It may make you spend more time at 8,000 or 9,000 RPM because it's a lot more fun, which is different, but you're welcome, Simon. I'm sure you can come up with other excuses.
We can send you more parts to install tomorrow night.
Indeed. Some emergency next day air overnight, got to go to the track on Saturday.
I'll just send you 42 tune revisions to try out tomorrow.
I love it. Many logs required. Sorry, honey, I'm still busy.
And I have to get them back.
Yeah. So don't think that by adding horsepower to a naturally aspirated engine, at least the way that we do it, that it increases wear. It doesn't. Because I get asked this all the time. Oh, you guys, it's 60 horsepower. You're going to break the engine. All these things are a problem, and blah, 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 blah. It's gonna blow up. No, it's not. It's not gonna blow up.
The OEM parts are available from Porsche.
Yes.
Our parts are not yet because we're not ready yet. When we're done,
correct.
Sure, but.
And honestly, Charles and I go back and forth
on even offering them.
Correct. Because there is a can we? Yes. Should we? We're not sure. Because as soon as we make an engine internal and something happens inside that engine, it's going to be our fault.
Yep.
And these are phone calls that I will have to take or Charles will have to take. And neither one of us want to take those phone calls.
Head first.
Well, Ted will do the hot freaking potato. He does it to me now. He's like, I'm not comfortable doing this. Here, you take it. Not interested. This is definitely a Jamie or a Charles level conversation, not a Ted conversation. So that's why I've been like, It would come down to, can we get the solution elegant enough, cost-effective enough versus other possible solution sets like putting in a 991.2 GT3 engine. And the kind of linchpin with that is, can we reuse the existing camshafts? Because that's where shit gets expensive.
Yeah, a set of cams is 10, 12 grand. So.
Right. So
because there is calculated, if we had to do rockers and cams, plus seals, gaskets, other bits, it's easy to get that number $18,000.
Right.
So now we're 15 to 18 grand into parts, and then engine out, cams out.
Doing it.
So it's easy to make probably $10,000 in labor to do that.
Right.
So now we're 30 grand into a repair
that didn't add any power.
Basically.
Right.
So,
that may not add any power.
Yeah.
I know Charles is always, his brain doesn't work that way.
No.
It's, what are the ways that I can make it so that this is going to be robust, and there's always an and to that to make more horsepowers.
You do this, make 3 more.
Yes, it is engine out to inspect and replace. To do it effectively and efficiently,
you can do it in the car if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you couldn't recite how to do it in the car, I wouldn't do it in the car.
Correct. So for most shops, they're going to quote it as engine out, which isn't the end of the world, and it shouldn't be that expensive to take the engine out.
It's
honestly
easy. All 911s are.
Yeah,
Everyone knows that.
we've got a non-trained Porsche tech that took the 991.1 GT3 engine out and put it back in. He's a good wrench. He's a self-trained good wrench. And Charles just said, do this, do this, do this, do this. He did all of it, took it out himself, put it back in himself.
One less do this. Only do this.
Only 2 do this?
Only 2 do this.
Only 2 do this. Okay. It's starting to take a dump? Is it? It still says 10K over here. All right. Oh yeah, here it comes. So we've been having some struggles with our Whiskey Friday where we're getting throttled by Comcast at exactly 5:20. They like flip a switch and they cut us off.
So do we Whiskey Friday earlier?
Start at 3:30? Sure. Yeah.
2 hours.
That sounds great. All the guys in the East Coast will love it. So, so in the scheme of costs for what you need to do for this, the engine out and back in is not the end of the world versus $80,000 for a new engine, right? Or selling your 991.1 GT3 for $110,000 and buying a $180,000 991.2 GT3. So it's all calculus, right? You got to figure out what's right for you. You know, I've had these conversations with a number of guys on the phone.
Now, if you're not worried about numbers matching,
yeah,
a 3.8 engine that is in good health
mm-hmm.
is worth more money than one that you did blow up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Kind of the whole pull it out, sell it.
Yep.
You know.
So if you were looking, this is the other part of this that guys don't always think about. The engine you pull out of your car has value when you put a different engine in it. So you buy a 991.2 GT3 engine for $30K, that's absolute cost. Now you've got another engine sitting here. Maybe it's good. Maybe parts of it are good.
Schrodinger's engine.
It's Schrodinger's engine, right? Is it worth something? Is it not worth something?
Schrodinger's finger followers.
Yeah.
This episode.
So that's that's where we're at with this. That's what's going on. 991.1 GT3 engine with the current workload, other things that we're trying to get done, probably doesn't even get on an engine stand until sometime in March, if it even gets on an engine stand by then. The community service part of this is us documenting how to do that work, because we're going to make exactly zero money, and we're going to put effort and time into documenting this, and then get a zillion questions from every shop in the nation, because none of them are willing to do this currently, and all of the customers are going to come wanting this to be done. So we're going to have to work within our preferred installer list and dealer list to try and promote them to go do this. The dealer is the only source for Porsche factory parts.
If we, in an example of thought process in this instance where everyone's just trying to make money off of everybody else, especially with fear, also known as LN engineering.
Correct.
Oops, did I say that?
Yeah, you're supposed to cover up your microphone.
IMS bearing stuff is a sore subject for me.
Yeah. There's been a lot with that.
If we create the parts that I have roughed out for finger follower fix, let's say I make those and we sell them for $5-6 grand, everybody puts them in, we could make a lot of money if everything goes well. I'm still going to put a DGG 991.2 RS motor in because it is superior in every way.
Right.
So plus added power, and who doesn't like extra horsepower? Now, Blabmouse is, again, Ted, you're gonna have to come down and drive it. One of these points is a little bit comical. It's kind of fun. Definitely feels like you put an 8-liter motor in the back now.
Right.
So,
Right.
Torque management, it's kind of like, ooh, we have torque, but I can't manage.
I can't manage it. I don't know what to do. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
So you guys get the gist. This is,
and we don't really make much money from this swap. Or
no,
probably this isn't.
No,
this is more community service.
Yeah,
I would
for
say.
sure. I mean, we've been trying to figure out how do we monetize it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, because there are complications. There are things that need to get done. There are nuance to it, but I wouldn't necessarily say it was hard, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Last I checked, it was about $5,300 for a set of the OEM rocker arms.
Like for all 24?
It's the lash adjuster and the rocker arm.
Oh, both. Yeah, they come together.
They come together.
That's right. Yeah. You can't buy the rocker by itself.
Nope.
So,
yeah, they're more than that now, Ted.
Yeah.
I think the exhausts are like $170.
Yeah, this was back in those prices are from 2015, 16.
Yeah.
So to put this in context, the reason that we were hot on this very early on is Charles took the valve cover off when we started to hear about this with our 2014 that we had, and this was back in 2016, right? And at 3,000 miles on the car, we already had wear.
Mm-hmm.
We already had lines in the fingers. So it was like, oh, well, that's not good. And had we kept the car, and in retrospect, I probably should have, because I sold it for less than I bought this one like 8 years ago. So 7 years ago, whatever it was. But yeah, can't keep them all. Wish I could, like Pokemon. Want to keep them all. The giant warehouse with Dundon lab rats on shelves from over the years. That'd be pretty spectacular.
Just do Pokemon Go where they're all on a different lift, but you actually can't see them unless you have your phone on the app.
Ooh, you gotta, yeah. And it's just a picture of it, not really the car. That's the bargain way to do it. So anyway, anybody got some questions for us? It is coming up 5:30. We're probably going to lose connectivity anyway. And partner with...
Oh, just...
yeah, that sounds reasonable. I like it. Run with that. What else we got going on in the shop? Sale. We got a sale. We actually have a sale. So
teaser for next week?
Yeah.
Or
should be next week.
Next week or the week after we can talk about diffs and flywheels and
oh yeah, that'll be interesting.
That'll be interesting. 991.2 GT3s, manuals. Lightweight flywheels are in the building. Clutch plate LSD is in the building. Almost in the building is the RST Elemento P twin plate ST style, even lighter. Probably here next week. So options for the manual trans cars. We'll show and tell that next week. And or the next week. Loss leader.
We've got a local car lined up to be the test bed for that. That's already my favorite 991.2 GT3 manual. So they'll be getting the first bit of those. We'll call it the ST package, if you will. You know, the
are we even allowed to call it that?
I don't know what's an S and a T. I don't think they can trademark that. The
maybe
super transmission package, but we're going to call it the ST package, not the Porsche S/T package.
Yeah.
And in other news, in small business news, someone in China is trademarking Dundon Motorsports, and they have a laundry list. We actually are lucky. We have some friends over there, both dealers of ours, and they looked into this for us, and they figured out who it is, and they seem to be like a version of a patent shark, if you will, or patent troll, where they're just licensing brands that they deem as valuable. So it's a bit of it's kind of cool that they picked us. That's kind of nice. They think that it's worth something. So they're spending trademark money to license it in China, and they've got like a whole laundry list of automotive companies that they're doing this for, which I found pretty interesting. So that's one more thing to add to my list to go troubleshoot, employ a lawyer, go figure out, find out. Oh, woe is me. You own your own business? You're so lucky. Yeah. Some days. Other days, not so much. So, that's your guess for Alex Club 18? Yeah, the ZR1 only being 1,200 pounds was a bit of a surprise. I thought they would have done more than that, but means that whoever makes aero for the ZR1 is going to make that car even quicker. So,
well, why make aero and you can just crank the boost up?
Right? Just go faster. Just like the tires on
pops and burbles.
Pops and burbles. Oh, reminds me. There was a video that we shared on Instagram. The shooting flames out of the back of a car is fun. Yes. That said, depending on how you are shooting flames out of the back of the car, it will void your Dundon lifetime warranty on your exhaust. So don't run to your nearest tuner for a pops and bangs tune for your $300,000 992 GT3. Please don't. It's not tasteful. The car does those noises when it needs to do those noises, when it's very hot and you're using it appropriately. If you want to be some dipshit in a 320 BMW with a pops and bangs tune driving through traffic like an asshole, every let off of the gas, it's like shooting
on 87 octane.
On 87 octane, right? I mean, it's like, come on, don't be that guy, please. Don't be that guy. The shop that is promoting it, good for them. That's fine. That's not necessarily something that we would endorse or do ourselves. So buyer beware. Buyer beware. If you want to tune, make sure that it's doing it the way that it should be done. Meow. I think that was more towards me than anybody else. But don't cook your cat. So.
You know what, Larry? I think you're going to let us know.
I think this sounds like the answer is embedded in the question. So I would say less than 1. I think they have a sticker on them. They're not supposed to get below like 40 degrees.
Yeah.
So
40, I think like 47 or something.
Yeah, which is kind of silly because I've had supercar 3Rs on the car and driven them around. So yeah,
for fighter jets
and turbo cars. But yeah, something less than 4. Yeah, probably something less than 4 is the right answer, Larry, for sure. So, all right, a couple last questions and we're out. Whiskey Thursday was a success. Like and subscribe if you like our banter and to know more about Porsche BS that we seem to be able to know a lot about. So. All right. Anybody else? And our internet is actually survived. It didn't crash. Because it's Thursday.
They're waiting for tomorrow. They're like, oh,
yeah. Come on. We're going to get you. We're going to sit here behind the tree and look at you. We're waiting. Really? Well, how many laps have you gotten in your 4RS? The last time I remember was you were sick. So you weren't able to go. 4RS has MCS already, I think.
You just swapped the part?
I think so. But he doesn't have Aero yet. We've got it.
Oh, yeah, because he had lift on his 718.
Yeah, shipped on his 718.
Okay.
So. We'll watch it live. I love it. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful rest of your week because there is one more day in it. Those of you who celebrate Valentine's Day, have a wonderful Valentine's Day, and you're welcome. So, nice. Deletes tune, request email for Awesome. The question for the center locks, yes? Question mark. I understand that some cars have gotten updated center locks, but not all cars. And the guys that were supposed to clear my car from the registry of still needing it to be done have not done that because I got another letter saying that my car is under recall from Porsche.
Again.
Oh. Earlier this week. So I'll have to write to said service manager at local Porsche Tacoma.
I wonder if it's like 5 lug where you roll up and you just do 1 lug nut at a time to jack the car up. So can we just pull the bolt, pull the nuts off,
right, and
then just put it back on? The wheels don't move, so we're good, right?
Yeah, should be. Yeah, there's nothing that's the holding the car up or nothing. Should be fine.
Bring the nitrogen tank and the NASCAR style.
All right, y'all.